Hello, assholes. Pat Ryerke here, also known as the Patriarchy. All hail the Patriarchy. Well into 2017. Bill Maher jokes he's a house nigger on real time. And yeah, I'm just gonna say the N word here because I'm not like HuffPo where I'm gonna be baby about it and not say it. Before we get into this, I really don't like Bill Maher. At one point in my life, I did. I liked Politically Incorrect, on Bill Maher, and I used to watch it. But real time, I think fucking sucks. I think he brings on people who know stuff, and then he brings on celebrities just to have people fight, and it's bullshit. And his one-on-one conversations are usually much more interesting than the panel. The panel's just a bunch of people yelling at each other, and they don't get to anything. And he's got one of the worst audiences. They just clap at whatever the I don't know. They're very inconsistent. They clap at random shit. There's just been so much cringe on Bill Maher over the years, and he's been a hypocrite so many times. Um, and he's a comedian that I like overall. He's all right, but I don't know why he acts like he's an expert in everything when it comes to being a liberal or the left. He thinks he knows fucking everything. He blindly defends Hillary Clinton. Lately. I don't know what his deal is with that. And I don't mind him attacking Trump. That's fine. But his blind, just I don't know. Like he's not willing to criticize Hillary Clinton anymore. All of it's really annoying. And bullshit Bill does. Like he had Milo on his show, right? And when Milo was on his show, he was calling Milo like the next Christopher Hitchens, and I was like, okay, what the fuck? Then Milo's whole thing comes out about what he said on the Drunken Peasants, blows up. And then Bill Maher comes out and takes credit for it, saying he was the reason of the downfall of Milo. It started on his show. Then a clip comes out where Bill Maher said the same thing Milo said years ago on his show, and everyone on his panel disagreed with him. So this is just typical Bill Maher shit. He flip flops depending on the situation. He's not consistent at all. Bill Maher's never been consistent. He'll say one thing and then say something completely different depending on the panel. He'll be completely critical of one person, but then he won't be critical of a person doing the same thing because he has a bias towards that side. That's just what Bill does. He just suits whatever makes him look good that week. Having said that, though, Bill's always been a proponent for free speech, and that's my number one thing. And, I'm with him. Everyone should be able to say what they want, and he doesn't censor people who come on his show, and he lets people come on and say what they want. He's an asshole about it sometimes, but that's fine. It's his show. Before we get into this, here's the thing. Freedom of speech, you're allowed to say whatever you want, but there are consequences. He is on a TV show, and he said nigger. He said it, and he said it in a really bad joke. It just wasn't funny. He just didn't say it funny at all. I don't have an issue with him making the joke or the attempt at the joke. It was just one of the worst jokes I've heard in that regard. Louis C.K. has a great joke where he talks about the N-word, and then George Carlin has a great bit. Even I've done a short film video where we made a joke with the N-word where we use it a couple times, but the joke was about the reaction someone had to it, not the use of the N-word. Basically, Bill Maher's joke, it was just a joke that didn't really hit. That doesn't really mean anything. I don't think Bill Maher's a racist. I don't think he was racist when he said this, and I don't think his audience is bad because they awkwardly clapped a little bit after. But this thing is blown up. It's been all over Twitter, over social media. People are trying to get Bill Maher fired. It's all over the place, and it's like, really? This is the thing that could get Bill Maher fired? They said the N-word? But comedian Bill Maher dropped a racial slur in a joke Friday on Real Time, and people erupted on social media. So I guess we're gonna just have to watch it. But here we go. But like I said, I just think the joke doesn't hit. I don't really have a problem with the attempt of the joke at all. I just don't think it was a very funny joke. The problem is Bill kind of has the joke already done with a facial expression. He doesn't need to say the part afterwards. And it feels like he just kind of said it for a shock value, and it just didn't hit. And he kind of berates his audience, like, oh, come on, it was a joke. It's like, well, dude, it just wasn't a very good joke. Like, if it had been funny, he would have got a laugh, no doubt. But his joke was just like, that's weird. I don't care that he said it. Who gives a fuck? But you know me, I'm not going to tell someone. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say Bill Maher should be able to say this because that's me flip flopping on freedom of speech. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, now I don't agree with it because I don't like Bill Maher. No, I think Bill Maher should be able to say this. But like I said, there's consequences. You know, he could get fired for this. I'm not saying he should be, but I'm just saying he could get fired for this, and that's that's what happens. You know, their HBO could fire him if they want to. I don't think they will, though. I mean, it's HBO; they're pretty ballsy. But let's watch this and see how it goes.
To Nebraska more. You're welcome. We'd love to have you work in the fields with us.
Work in the field?
That's part of that. That's
Senator. I'm a house nigga. No, it's a joke. Thank you.
Okay, so when he says I'd like to have you come work in the fields with us, right? And you know he doesn't mean the fields like what Bill Maher, but I get that Bill Maher took it that way, and honestly, I think that's that's a great setup for a joke where Bill's like the fields, and then he makes that face, and people are laughing. That's funny. There's your joke. You already have your joke, Bill, and we get it. Him following it up with the "I'm a house nigger" just isn't that funny, because I don't know. I get what he's saying. Like he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna stay here. I'm not gonna go work in the fields. I'm a guy who I'm the house negro. You know, But it just, I don't know. It's just not that clever. The joke was already kind of there, and then I think he tried to push it a little further, and I just don't think it got the response he wanted because, you know, he said it, and it was like, well, I don't have a problem with someone using that word either for a joke, but like, I just don't think that joke hit. Having said that, who gives a fuck? That's my attitude, but the left gives a fuck. Bill Maher is getting shit on for this all over social media, and of course Huffington Post has to shit on him. While discussing the state of Nebraska's guest Ben Sasse, or Sasse, I don't know, told Maher, "We'd love to have you work in the fields with us." Then that's the joke we just saw. The real-time audience seemed to quickly forgive the host with a round of applause, waving off the reaction with his hand. Maher replied, "Thank you." People on Twitter, however, weren't so forgiving. But really, Bill Maher has got to go. There are no explanations that make this acceptable. Yeah, I just made an explanation for you. It was a joke he made, and it didn't really hit. I think it was a shitty joke. I'll give you that. If you want to say it was a shitty joke, I'll give you that. I don't think it was a very good joke. But I don't think it was racist, and I don't think it was said in a context that was really racist. It just... I don't know why Bill even said it. It just didn't really... It was like shock humor, really. Not good shock humor either. I was kind of surprised. Bill typically doesn't do that. Like, go there where it's like, well, that's weird. Bill Maher is a racist and bigot, and HBO must fire him. This is not acceptable. Bill Maher must be fired immediately for his racism and belittling the struggles of millions of black Americans. Yeah, he's belittling the struggles of black Americans. You know, Bill Maher spends all of his time talking about Black Lives Matter, and he was a big Obama supporter. And I don't like Black Lives Matter or Obama, but, like, Bill Maher's on your side. He agrees with you guys. Like, he's one of your biggest fighters out there is Bill Maher. He talks about white privilege and bullshit. I mean, I don't get it. His fans reminded Maher that word is completely off limits to him and any person who isn't black. Even if the comedian rejects the PC policing. Some are comparing Maher's joke with Kathy Griffin's shocking photo shooter for holding a likeness of Trump's bloody severed head, which outraged conservatives and liberals alike. I'm a huge Bill Maher fan, but he just said, as a joke in his mind, "I'm a house nigga, off limits, Bill, not cool at all." Bill Maher jokes have limits. High level of carelessness and indifference is destructive. Notice how Kathy Griffin self-destroyed. Me when Bill Maher just casually drops the N-word. They just clapped like Bill Maher didn't say anything offensive. One of Bill Maher's black acquaintances, "Please smack him. Bill, you don't get a pass." Yes, violently hit Bill Maher. Others are recalling how Maher had previously faced accusations of Islamophobia and was criticized for normalizing alt-right troll Milo Yiannopoulos when interviewing him on a show in February. Islamophobia because he criticizes Islam? Bill Maher's been criticizing religion, and particularly Christianity, for years. For years. And I never heard anyone bitching except conservatives. Now he's an Islamophobic. He has phobia because he criticizes Islam and what's going on. You know, he has the right to criticize those things. you can't just pick what religion he has a phobia towards, because Bill Maher talks shit about all the religions. It's not like Bill Maher just acts like Islam's a bad. Like, Bill Maher doesn't like religion. He's very adamant about that. He made a whole movie shitting on religion called Religulous. Like, he doesn't like it. That's who he is. That's who he always was. You don't have to agree with that, but that's who that guy is. He's a fucking atheist who hates religion for the most part. Like, he's like, I'm shutting this shit down. So you can't just be now like, oh, now Bill Maher's bad. You had to have disliked that always. You can't just now be upset that it's Islam. Also, well, of course he had Milo on his show. It's not normalizing Milo. Milo was already normalized. You know, normalized him, the people at Berkeley that went and ruined his event. That normalized Milo to the masses because that made him sympathetic. Bill just capitalized on the success of that. I have no issue with that. People shocked at Bill Maher being racist-y. Check with your Arab and Muslim friends. Been doing this for a long time, but he got hall passes. Oh my god. So all Muslims hate Bill Maher, think he's racist? For folks finally denouncing Bill Maher, now you're saying white transphobia and Islamophobia are okay. Anti-blackness is where you draw a line. Remember when Bill Maher had Milo on, and Milo disrespected the two black guests? Remember how quiet Bill was? Well, I think Bill could let the guests speak for themselves, and that's what Bill let happen. He let Larry Wilmore and Malcolm speak for themselves because he doesn't have to speak for the black men. They can defend themselves against Milo if they want. He doesn't represent them. That's not his job. He brings people on to have these bullshit arguments on his show. But Bill's not going to step in for two black guys like that and speak for them. That's ridiculous. Let's see. In walking off a red eye from LAX, 3 reflections on Bill Maher. 1. I'm a First Amendment absolutist. Comedians get latitude to cross hard lines. But free speech comes with responsibility to speak up when folks use that word. Me cringing last night wasn't good enough. Here's what I'd wish I'd be quick enough to say in the moment. Hold up, why would you think it's okay to use that word? The history of the N-word is an attack on universal human dignity. It's therefore an attack on the human creed. Don't use it. Maher hasn't responded to the outrage yet, and if he does, it probably won't be an apology. Oh no, he's definitely not apologizing. The comedian whose career hinges off no-holds-barred sarcasm believes that PC culture has become a dangerous vehicle in today's politics and has warned Democrats to ease up on the identity politics. He even blamed PC culture for President Donald Trump's win, which I completely agree with. I think PC culture was a huge contribution to Donald Trump's victory. I think years of PC culture just pissed everyone off who got sick of it. So that's a more than fair criticism. If you want to beat Donald Trump in the future, you have to calm down PC culture and identity politics. People do not like it. I know people don't. They're like, oh, what are you talking about? Trump ran on. Trump did not run on your typical identity politics. He ran on some kind of crazy troll meme level of it. Like, that was not your typical identity. If you want to run like that, just crazy, sure. But the Democrats try to act all fucking serious, like they're talking about real fucking issues. Like, oh, look, Bill Maher said the N-word. That's the biggest crisis in the world right now. Really? All the shit going on right now? But if people are wondering if it's okay for Maher to casually drop the slur as a joke, we'll let the Twitter outrage answer the question. Nope, 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 nope. So according to Huffington Post, if people on Twitter bitch about it, then that's the definitive answer to let you know if the N-word's okay for a comedian to say or not casually. Alright. I mean, I agree he shouldn't have dropped it so casually. I think when you make that joke, you should, on some level, think the joke out a little bit. It sounded like he just improvised it and dropped it and it wasn't really thought out. But I'm a freedom of speech guy, so I'm not going to shit on Bill Maher. I'm just not going to do it. Some people are going to get pissed at me for that because I get a lot. They're like, well, hey, you know, he shouldn't say this shit. You know, morally this is wrong. I don't give a fuck about morals in these situations because morals are different, and I'm not going to put my... I wouldn't use that joke, and I wouldn't say it on television. But I'm not Bill Maher. So that's as simple as it is. He can do what he wants. I've used the N-word in videos just talking about it like I did here because I don't do that bullshit where I say the N-word much. I read, like this article says, a house nigger on real time. I'm going to say that. But that's just reading it as a word. I wouldn't use it as an offensive slur or anything ever. And I don't think I ever have, from what I know, ever in my life. I've never used it that way. But I'm okay with jokes that use the N-word. I'm particularly okay with white people making them if they're funny. So I highly recommend looking up the George Carlin bit on the N-word, and Louis C.K. has a great bit with the N-word, and they're both really funny. And I know I'm saying the N-word right now, but that's just because I don't want to say the other one a bunch of times. Um, I don't want to not get ads on this video. But basically, it's bullshit. You got to be for freedom of speech in all cases. You can't. That doesn't mean you can't criticize people for their speech. Like people can criticize Bill Maher for this. I'm fine with that. But we have to really let people know, like, hey, Patrice O'Neill made this a long time ago. He had this great debate on Fox, I think, with this woman where they said you can't make rape jokes, and he said it's the attempt that should be allowed and okay with people. It's not that the joke's either funny or not funny. It's the attempt to make that joke funny because that's what it is. You're pushing the boundaries, and I say Bill Maher has the right to make the attempt. Um, I think this showed that Bill Maher's not the quickest on his feet, which I've always felt about Bill Maher. Uh, I always felt like he's at his best when his material's written, not when he has to be spontaneous. But whatever. If he gets fired, I guess he gets fired. But I don't think HBO is going to fire him. I wish people wouldn't get outraged over this. This is silly. And I still don't like Bill Maher. I still don't really like Real Time. I don't like what he says a lot of the time. I don't agree with him anymore like I used to. But ultimately, this shouldn't be a controversy when, we know that other people get a pass for being hateful just because of where they come from or whatnot. And Bill, I'm not saying he should just get a pass because, people shouldn't get a pass for things, but we have to be fair here. This isn't the first time somebody's made a joke using the N-word, and I don't think it was racist. I don't think he said to me, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was racist. I don't know, but it didn't come off that way to me. And I don't think Bill Maher has a history of racism like people are trying to pigeonhole him in. I don't think he has that pattern in his career. But tell me what you think in the comments. Maybe we'll figure this out together. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, go fuck yourselves.